Good. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Satvika, you are online today? You people can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone, any idea from where I can close the sound of my laptop? Is it F5 or F6? Any idea, anybody? Output laptop. Input. Function. Okay, everyone, can you have your videos on? Yes, good morning, Satvika. Satvika, you listening today?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, my alarm didn't ring early in the morning, so I realized even if I start, I'll just be late.
Let me alone in the classroom. Okay, who else is there? Good morning, Sneha. Good morning. So did everyone go through the session 1 worksheet? You people can hear me clearly, or is there a problem that I'm getting an echo?
We can hear you.
Aditya, any idea which should I press to switch off the incoming sound in the laptop? Aditya, are you there? Or Rahul, I think you could help me out. In the laptop, there's a Lenovo laptop. What do I
You want to do exactly like
Huh?
what do you want to do exactly?
I want to mute the incoming sound. So should I press F5, F6? Because the icons are not very clear in this. I'm getting an echo at first.
Actually, the thing is, you're joined from 2 devices, right? UTHO and Classroom 8. So what you can do is you can mute one of them and speak through just one.
Muting myself here. I'm talking about the incoming sound. Because incoming, I've got 2 devices, so it's creating an echo.
Oh, F5.
F5.
Yes.
Hello? No, hasn't worked.
You could simply you could go back, like double click on your screen if you're using a laptop. Then whatever device you're using, go to the volume button, the settings, and then just click on the mute option.
Okay. Hello? Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Okay, so I was asking, did anyone of you go through the session 1 worksheet? Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
so any doubts in it?
No.
Were you able to do all the problems, all the questions? Hmm?
Ma'am. Yes.
You did them?
Yeah.
Agree, ma? You did?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Aditya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now whatever we did yesterday, that's clear with everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no doubts on that? Any confusion anymore? No confusion? Hmm? Okay. So you'll be getting the session 3 worksheet today by evening, I suppose, right? And once you get that, you should be able to do it by, say, tomorrow or over the weekend, right? So today we will move on to our next part of grammar again. So before we get into the rigorous process of practice, I want you to be thorough with all the concepts of grammar that you will be coming across. So now in our session 3, so today we will be doing verb forms. Yeah, you've done a lot of verbs, past tense, present tense, future tense in school, right? You may remember some. The basics you will be remembering, maybe a little bit on the details and how to use them, where to use what and not to use, those we will be doing. So first of all, every sentence has a verb or more than a verb, one verb, right? So we've done those verbs earlier also. So now today we will be doing what we would call verb tenses. So the basics that you have to remember is that any question that you will come across related to verbs, either it will be subject verb agreement as we did earlier, or it will be related to the verb tense. Now when we're talking about verb tense, the only thing that you really need to focus on is that the verbs should be consistent throughout the whole sentence, right? So you can't have one present and one past, or one in the past continuous and one in the present continuous. All of them should be in the same tense. So tenses are so there are 3 tenses: the present, past, and future, that everyone knows, right? Now these are further divided into simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Then it becomes a little complicated, right? So what we'll do is we'll quickly go through. Now, whenever you come across any verb tense related, say, article, you're searching for something on the net, you come across these 3 or 4, say V1, V2, V3, or V1, V2, V3, V4, etc. Right? So just so that you don't get confused. Now you are concerned with a verb and you know how the verbs are used. So it won't be very confusing for you. So V1 would be just the root verb that is in the present tense. V2 we refer to as a past tense, and V3 usually as a past participle. And all other forms follow from here, right? So say we have the a word gained, it will be gained in the past, gained in the past. Past participle is usually ed of the present tense, or it could also be something irregular.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
are you sharing the slideshow? Because again, it's not there.
Okay. You can see it now. 1 minute. I'll share it again. Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, clear? Okay. So V1 refers to the present, V2 refers to the simple past, and V3 refers to the past participle, right? And when you talk about past participles, there can be verbs which are not, which don't follow just the ed pattern. They can have en, n, ne, t, etc. Like say, stole becomes stolen, hide becomes hidden. So these are just a few examples. Now we move on to the main part. Now, just to get an idea of what we are talking about in the simple, when we say simple present, simple tenses. Yeah. We said present, past, and future. We divided that into the simple, perfect, continuous, and perfect continuous. So, what are simple tenses? Which are actually happening now. Right? Those words will be in the simple tense. So if you're talking about the singular simple tense, we get the root verb plus S or ES plus the object. That will be your sentence structure. So say the girl sings a song, right? So when you say sings a song, it is in the, so sings, sing is the root verb. Yeah. You added S, it becomes the present, simple present tense. Okay. The team runs every day. Yeah, same thing. Run becomes runs. Now, when we go into the plural, the verb remains as it is. There's a root form. The teams run, or the girls sing. Right? So now they won't really ask you whether it is a simple present tense or a perfect present tense, or is it a simple past or a perfect past, but you should know the usage. That's the main purpose. Now in the simple past, what do we get? The V2, there is a past tense of the verb plus the object, obviously, right? The team ran for Anna yesterday, maybe. Now in the simple future, something that will happen in the future. The simple past is something that has already happened and completed. Yeah, that is the simplest way of representing it. Now when you talk about the future, simple future will be will or shall plus the verb. Yeah, the root verb. So the team will run tomorrow. Yeah. That will be the simple future. Now, if we talk about the perfect tenses, yeah, the perfect tense is something that has begun in the past and still continuing into the present. So when you have that sense in the sentence, that's something that began and it is still continuing. Like if you have an example, has, it will be have the has or have plus the past participle, that form of the verb. Now it is not in the past tense, but since it has started in the past and continuing in the present, so, and usually we have the ed verb come in or just the verb. So the team has run every day for the past month. So if you look at the sentence, every day for the past month, so something that has happened in the past and it's continuing into the present. Yeah. For the past 7 hours, they have watched Netflix. So here we have the ed form of watch. Watch plus ed. Now, not that you have to just mug up everything and remember this is, you have to just get an idea of how the verbs are used, right? The past perfect, something that, past perfect is usually used when say there are two actions, two events happening, one occurred in the past and one is continuing, right? So two completed actions, both in the past, one before, one later. So we have the past participle form of the word, that is the ed form of the word usually, or whichever other form it comes in, and had before it. So the team had run for 1 hour before the storm rolled in. Yeah. So here if you see there are two actions taking place. One is the team had run and the other word is the storm rolled in. So the storm rolled in is the later action. Team had run is the action that came earlier. Right? So the team had run for 1 hour before the storm rolled in. Gives you the idea that two actions happened, one before the other. So by the time his mom came home from work, George had watched 7 hours of Netflix. Here you will not use has, because we are talking about the past, right? So by the time, this is what gives you the clue. If you are saying by the time, so what happened first? George had watched 7 hours of Netflix happened first, and his mom came home after that. Okay, so the two actions, one happening before the other, you are using had plus the verb. Okay. I hope it's not becoming confusing. It's not meant to be confusing. I'm sorry if it is. Now, when you're talking about the future perfect tense, yeah. So something that has not happened but will be completed in the future. So we have the shall or have, will have or shall plus the verb. So the team will have run by tomorrow. Right? Now here you will not say the team will have ran by tomorrow or team will have runs by tomorrow. This team will have run by tomorrow. Now if you look at all these the perfect tenses, they will be the same whether it is singular or plural. Okay. Now we go into a few more. Just a second. Now next will be the progressive continuous. Okay, are you getting an echo? Or only I am getting the echo? Aditya,
Yes, ma'am, we are also getting it.
are you getting the echo?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Just a moment. I'll try to fix it. Can you see the screen now? Yeah, is it shared?
I think I have built in slideshow mode. We get the screen is visible, but I think if you shift, it won't be.
I can't hear you. Just a moment. I'll try it. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
So now when you're talking about the progressive continuous tense, so we saw the simple and the perfect. Yeah. Now progressive. What do you mean progressive or continuous? You can remember is that continuous tense. So an action that is happening and it's continuing to happen. So usually we use the ing form of the verb, right? So it will be is, am, are plus the ing form of the verb. So you are adding ing to the verb, right? Yeah. So the team is running right now. As a present, we are talking about the present tense, present continuous tense. I am swimming, right? Now, if you're talking about the past, so if you have a past progressive, that means something that started in the past and is continuing till the future, till the present, sorry, right? So in the present progressive, something that is happening in the present as not completed. Past progressive, something that started in the past, continuing till the present. Right? So we have the subject, plus was or were, and the ing form of the verb. Got it? So let's look at an example. The team was running yesterday when the storm rolled in. Yeah, here we have was running when yesterday, that is in the past. Again, there are two actions taking place when the storm rolled in. Or we have just one action. They were swimming in the river. That also gives us the past tense, past progressive. They were swimming. Now, if it was a simple past, we would say they swam in the river. Right? Now, if we talk about the future continuous tense, something that will happen for a period of time in the future, not just happen in the future. Again, you have the ing. So all the continuous tenses, continuous verbs will have ing coming in. The team will be running tomorrow around 8 a.m. Right? So will be or shall be running. He will be swimming. Okay. So that was the continuous tenses, verb plus ing, and depending whether it is present, past or future, you will have is, am or are, was or were if it is the past, and will be or shall be if it is the future. Correct? Okay. Now we come to the present continuous tense or the present perfect. Now this was the just continuous tense. Now there's another one which is called perfect continuous tense. So in the when you talk about perfect tenses, again we have the singular and plural coming in when we talk about the present tenses. So perfect continuous has been. Now there's a difference if you see. Just continuous is am, and when you talk about perfect, it is has been plus the verb plus in. Yeah, she has been practicing since morning. So it's not had been, has been. Right? Now when it comes to plural, the subject plus have been plus the ing form of the verb. So singular has, plural have. That's the only difference. So they have been practicing since morning, or the team has been running every day for the past month. Yeah. So this is something that is continuing in the present. Now past, if we talk about the past perfect continuous, had been. This gets converted into had been. So they had been preparing for the performance for 2 months. Right? And if this comes in the present, it would be they have been preparing. Yeah. Now the say we have the team had been running every day for the past month. So if you see for the past month, that is over a period of time. It isn't complete. Now if we talk about the future continuous, future perfect continuous, sorry. So you will have been. Now just future continuous had, will be or shall be. Here we add have in the middle. Yeah, she will have been working here since 2015. Or the team will have been running for the annual event. Okay. So I hope that is clear. Anyone wants to take down anything from here? Mr. Grima?
No, ma'am, I noted.
All clear over here? It may be a little confusing, but don't worry, you don't have to remember. Is it present progressive or is it present perfect continuous progressive? You just have to know that what comes with what. Right? So now the clue that you will be getting is from the structure of the sentence. Right? So let's go on to some examples. So Raj speaks German. This is simple present tense. Now they speak German, Simple present tense for plural. She is speaking. That will be the present continuous. She has learned, present perfect for singular. Yeah, it comes in has learned. They have learned. That's present perfect for plural. She has been learning. What is that? Present continuous for singular. So if one part of the sentence is something like has been learning, the other part will not be learns or learned, right? They have been learning, that is for plural. I played football yesterday. So just played. That is a simple past, right? I was playing. That is continuous. You come up with the ing. They were playing. That is the plural. They had played. That's the past perfect. Right? They had been playing. Past perfect continuous. So had played gets converted to had been playing. So you are adding been and ing. She will go to school tomorrow. Thus, she will go. Yeah, simple future. She will be going becomes continuous. So anything in continuous will have the ing coming in. She will have gone to school tomorrow. Perfect future. Will have gone. Now here gone doesn't mean past. It is future perfect. She will have been going becomes continuous, right? So that was the basics of the different types of tenses. Now there's one more structure which is important and it is very commonly tested. The conditional or the subjunctive mood of the verb. Yeah. Now conditional or subjunctive means that something that is, you may say, a hypothetical situation or hasn't happened. Unreal, something which is shows possibility or may happen, or counter to fact which is not true, but you can think about it. Yeah, or wishful thinking. So usually here we would have the would and the if coming in. Yeah, it describes something that would happen if a condition has been met. Can people see the screen?
Yes, ma'am, we
Yes,
can see.
ma'am.
No, I think there is some problem here. The internet is gone. Okay, there's some connectivity problem again. There's a connectivity problem, so it's going on. Okay, just a second, guys. I think this laptop is giving some problem. So just give me a minute. I'll transfer to. Okay, can you see it now? Yes, guys. Satvika,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see the screen now?
Yeah.
Some major problem coming on times. Anyway, so you have to bear with it a little bit. Okay, so we were talking about conditional mood. So when we, what is conditional mood? When something hasn't happened or is not likely to happen. So we'll come across the words like would and if, right? So when you say would and if, what do you mean? Something that hasn't happened. So the structure of the sentence changes. Now, or if you have if and that coming up, and it would be accompanied with would have or should have or wish, and you will never ever use will or shall. So it is something that is absolutely hypothetical, nothing definite about it. Yeah, and the auxiliaries that come in with it would be would, should, may, etc. And we will use were. This is very important. You will be using were and not was. So an unreal situation, like say, look at this one. If I were rich, I would buy a sports car. So this is a hypothetical situation beginning with if. It won't be I was rich, it will be I were rich and I would buy a sports car. You will not say I will buy a sports car. Got it? Yeah? Anybody nod your head at least so that I know you are getting it. Yes, thank you, Sneha. Okay, so this format of the sentence, when it is a hypothetical situation, will begin with if or might. You will have were, not was. You will have would or should, not shall or will. Sorry, not will or yeah, shall. Now, if it is a possibility, we like this sentence, we might find her ring if we were to look hard enough. Yeah, when we say might, we are not sure about it, but it's still a possibility. So we might find a ring if we were to look harder. Right? Now, wishful thinking, I wish it would stop raining. We will not say, I wish it will stop raining. We usually make that mistake, right? When we are speaking, I wish it will stop raining, which is grammatically incorrect. The team would run tomorrow at 7 a.m. if the school were open. If you look at the words used, the team would run tomorrow at 7 a.m. if the school were open that early. Okay? So would, if, were. These are the three words that are coming in to show that it is not a definitive, it's a subjunctive or conditional. Because of his work schedule, Jake said he would study later. Yeah, so here we don't have the if or were. It's just that because of his work schedule, which is maybe not fixed, Jake said he would study later. That is, maybe he will study later, right? If I were the team captain, she would make us run more. Yeah, oh, sorry, if she were, not run. So we have if, were, would, again. If she were, she would. Right? Okay, now there's a little bit when we come to the infinitives, the to-do form of the words. It is vital that the students are told to do in the what to do in the event of a fire. Now here we have a little catch. This is not something that is happening right now or not definite to happen. Event of a fire is something of a hypothetical situation. It may happen, right? So here again, this will not be are told, it will be told. Okay? The structure of the sentence changes a little. It is vital that the students be told what to do in the event of a fire. Right? So we keep them informed of what to do. So we will not use our are told, it will be told. You can write it down so that if you get a sentence like this, you know what it is. The teacher asked that we are in our seats before the bell rang. Would that be correct? Again, your are will be incorrect. What should we use instead? We be in our seats. Right? So these are not very generally used sentences, but yes, we should know the correct form. So the teacher asked that we be in our seats before the bell rang. So something that we should, or probably the teacher expects us to do. Right? It's not an order, but if you see, it is not an order as such, it is asked. It's not the teacher told us, but asked us. That is one. If I was told I would be a basketball player. Anything wrong in this sentence? Agrima? Read the sentence carefully. Anything wrong in here?
The was is wrong.
Yeah, the was should be
Were.
Right? If I were told, I would be a basketball player. So always remember the were will be used instead of was, and would, should would be used instead of will or shall. So whenever you come across if, it should be were, not was. So the main thing is in these types of sentences, you should ask yourself, is it really happening or it's a hypothetical situation? It doesn't really happen, but may happen, right? Okay, now we'll move on to the next part, which is the main thing. So these were all the basic rules that we should keep in mind, right? help us to identify verbs if they are wrong. So our main point is to work on verb tense consistency. Yeah. So the verb should remain in the same tense throughout the sentence, and even when you're writing a paragraph, the entire paragraph should be in the same tense, unless you are talking about a shift in the period of the sentence or of the paragraph. Yeah. So multiple verbs in the same sentence should usually be, say, if it is singular, remains singular. If it is plural, remains plural. We did in the verb, subject verb consistency. Yeah. Similarly, all verbs will remain in the same period, that is present tense or past tense. Say, so how do you do that? Now, suppose you have just one verb in the sentence and you are given two sentences. So you will look at or you are given a paragraph. You will look at the verbs in the other sentences. So look at the context, which will give you an idea of what the verbs should be. Now, so if there is a shift from the present to the past, then you have to see, is it correct in the context of the sentence or not? The problem arises when we have for and since coming in. Yeah. So we saw the perfect tense is used when we have for or since. And simple present tense is always used for general statements of fact. This is important. For general statements of fact, simple tenses are used. General statements of fact, like something that usually happens. The sun rises. The sun rose in the morning. No, the sun rises in the morning. Right? Okay, let's look at some examples to understand what we were talking about all this time. Let's look at this sentence. According to the cardiologist, since the patient's arteries are dangerously clogged with cholesterol deposits, the medical team had to check for elevated blood pressure and other heart attack risks. Now we have two verbs we have identified, are and had. So what is the tense of are? It is the present tense, had is in the past tense. So we should have both of them in the same tense. So depending upon what is underlined for you, you will be changing the tense. So either we can say the arteries were dangerously clogged. Yeah. So it matches with had, or the medical team has to check. That will become present. So we can't have one past and one present. So they have changed the second one into the present. Right? Okay, let's look at this one. Even though office hours had been over for some time, the professor and the student are continuing their productive work in the research, on the research project. Yeah. So this is had been, are continuing. So you have one in the past, one in the present. We have to correct the sentence. Right? So how can you correct the sentence? Rahul, can you tell me?
We could change the had been to present tense.
Even though office hours
Have been over.
Have been over. Right? Or we could take change the second part, had been had continued to work. Okay, so even though office hours have been over and are continuing. Now the second part, if you see, that is in the present tense, we would leave it in the present tense because they are still doing the work. So the first part can be changed to present. Okay, let's look at this one. Last week, Frank rented a car and drives to Lawrence. So we have the period as last week. Frank rented a car, that's a verb, rented. Drives is also a verb. What's wrong, Satvika? Yes, Satvika, are you dreaming?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, so how would you correct the sentence?
Last week, Frank rented a car and drove to Las Vegas.
Okay, Trenton lives in a rural area. He enjoyed the peace and quiet. Sneha, are you there? Sneha Chaudhary, yeah. Can you correct the sentence? We have two sentences.
Trenton used to live in a rural area.
Pardon, Sneha, I couldn't hear you. Can you be a little louder?
Trenton used to live or lived
Yeah.
In a-
Suppose, okay, we can do that. He lived in a rural area. He enjoyed the peace and quiet. Or alternatively, we can change the tense of the second sentence to present. Yeah, both ways would be correct. Okay, the instructor explains the diagram to the students who asked questions during the lecture. So what is the sense of the sentence? It seems to be something that happened in the past, right? That would be a better form. So we can say this we can do it both ways. We can keep it in the present tense or in the past tense. So we can say the instructor explains the diagram to the students who ask questions, right? That would also be correct. Now there's a little problem when it comes to shift in the chronological time. So let's look at some examples here. If the pace of technological advancements continues in the future, we ride self-driving cars. Now, if you look at the two parts of the sentence, they are in different tenses, right? We are talking about in future. Now it says, if the pace of technological advancements continues, right? In the future, would we say we ride? Here we will use a future tense because there is a shift in time in the sentence itself. Yeah. So when we are saying in the future, we would be saying we will ride. Right? So when you have sentences like this coming up where there is a shift in the classroom में कोई नहीं है online से करके अच्छा हाँ आप रखो मैं बाद में देती हूँ right so these are cases. Yes, who was saying something?
Satvika, and I wonder if the pace of technological advancements continues in the future, we will be riding.
Yeah, we will be riding could also be an option, and we can keep it as a simple future. We will ride.
Yeah.
That is also like we are talking about what can happen in the future. So we will ride will also be correct. We will be riding would also be correct. Both would be correct.
Yes, okay.
It will depend upon what your options are. If it is will be riding is given, you can choose that. If that is the only correct option available. Right? Okay. The children love their new tree house, which they built themselves. Now here again, if you see, they love their tree house means they love the tree house even now. But they built it in the past. Yeah. So we will keep the built. Right? So this is correct. It is not wrong. When we say they love their tree house, which they built themselves. So this is something, there are two time periods involved. One is the present and what is the past. So these are exceptions to the normal, like all verbs should be consistent rule. Here, when we have two time periods coming in, or there's a chronological shift of time, we would be looking at what is in the past and what is in the present or what is in the future. Say next one, look at this one. Before they began deliberations, many jury members had reached a verdict. Now they began deliberations and we have before. So there is one action happening before the other. They already had reached a verdict before they began deliberations, right? So here again, we have two time periods coming in. Let's see this one. Workers are installing extra loudspeakers. After Lewis? Oh, thank you. Now, workers are installing extra loudspeakers because the music in tonight's concert will need amplification. Yeah. Now, if you see, we have are installing and will need. Yeah, is it okay? Aditya, do you think this sentence is okay?
Ma'am, tonight's concert needs amplification.
So tonight's concert will need. So the concert hasn't happened, it is going to happen. And the workers are installing, they're doing something in the present. So there's a combination of the present and the future. So this will be correct, right? What do you think?
And we can even use the music in tonight's concert needs amplification.
Yeah, we can use that also. And we can also keep it in the future. Will need amplification would also be right. Both cases will be right. Right? So these were a few of those which were not very common, which are not common, but you have to take note of them. Okay, now the for and since questions. Italy and France are or were tourist attractions for hundreds of years since the 18th century. What would you use? So here we have a case where we have since or for hundreds of years, both the things can be used. So Italy and France are tourist attractions, yeah, 400. So they still are for hundreds of years since the 18th century, yeah, or we can say they are tourist attractions since the 18th century. Both the cases we will have the present perfect tense of the verb, yeah, are or were. These are singular and plural, the plural form of the verbs in the present tense. Or we can say Italy and France have been tourist attractions for hundreds of years, or have been tourist attractions since the 18th century. Yeah, got it? So this is where you would be using the present perfect with has and have. Now if we have this one, by the time Mae Jemison became an astronaut, she studied science for many years. What do we have here? By the time coming in. So that means she studied science for many years before she became an astronaut, right? So these are two completed actions. What do we use? The past perfect. Yeah. So she studied will be correct. We will not use, now both are in the past, so we will not use has studied. So just studied will be fine. Sorry, she had studied, not just studied, but since it is in the past, we will use a past perfect had studied.
Ma'am, what about she had been studying? Past perfect continuous.
She, no, here would we use the continuous tense? Because both actions have been completed in the past.
But that's not specified, right? That we can also assume that she
So
had been
something
continuing
that
to study.
began in the past, continuing till a period of time in the to the present, you would be using the continuous tense. In this case, both of them have been completed in the past. One came before the other,
Okay.
right? So by the time she became an astronaut, she had studied science for many years. That would be good, right? Now, if you look at this one, author and anthropologist Zora Neale Hurston, whose active period spanned from 1925 to 1950, famously writes many different types of literary works, including novels, plays, and essays. Now here we have writes. That's a verb. Is it correct? Look at the context of the sentence. It says author and anthropologist whose active period spanned from 1925 to 1950. So this is in the past, right? So when this is in the past, will we say famously writes? Yes, anybody?
She
Sneha?
wrote.
Yeah, we can say famously wrote,
Famously.
right? That I think would be, yes, famously wrote would be, because this all of it is in the past, and writes can be written as, can be changed to wrote. Okay, so those were the verb forms in different tenses, right? Now there's another part which is active and passive voice. Now you've learned about active and passive voice in school. What is active voice? Can anyone give me an example of active voice? Agrima? Agrima, can you give me an example of active voice?
Yes, ma'am. She ate she ate the cake. So that's, I think, active.
Active voice. And if you convert it into passive voice?
The cake was eaten by her.
Right, very good. So the active voice and passive voice, when we talk about, when the subject acts, we will call it the active voice. When the subject is acted upon, we would call it the passive voice. Usually, we normally use the active voice unless the object is more important than the subject, right? So active voice will be subject plus action as a verb plus the object. Like I draw a sketch. Passive voice becomes object plus the verb plus the subject. So that is the general format of the sentence or the structure of the sentence. A sketch is drawn by. So if, like I said, in some cases where the object may be more important or the focus is on the object, let's look at an example. Say the important documents were delivered by a delivery guy. Right? What does that mean? That the delivery guy is not important to us, the documents are important to us. Right? So the documents were there, we would use the passive voice. Okay. So there are some rules that we could follow or take note of for conversion of active to passive. So the object of the active verb will become the subject in the passive verb. Yeah. And the preposition, so the active voice sentences subject will become the object. So the verb changes from the object to the subject. The subject becomes the object and the object changes, and the verb changes to the past participle, that is ed, was done by, and we use by or have been. Say the kids have cleaned the kitchen. That's the active voice. How would you change it in the passive voice? Rahul? How do you change this sentence into the passive voice? The kids have cleaned the kitchen.
The kitchen has been cleaned by the kids.
Have been cleaned by the kids, right? So we have has or have been and by coming in. Now we found an old car in the woods. So when you change this into the passive voice, it may seem a little odd. What would you do, Sneha?
Old car has been found in the woods.
And you can use by us or you can remove by us. An old car was found in the woods. Okay. So that was active and passive voice. You just have to remember, we won't go into further details. You know exactly how to go about it. Now, direct and indirect speech. This is another place where the verbs change and the pronouns change and the format of the sentence itself changes. So direct speech is when you use the inverted commas and you write it down exactly how it has been said. Right? Say Raj said to Sonali, I am sleeping now. Now indirect speech, the format of the sentence changes. Yeah. It will be in your words as you are reporting with no inverted commas. Raj told Sonali that he was sleeping there. Now here if you say if you look at the tense, I am sleeping now. We have used the word then over here because the stress is on now. If it was just I am sleeping, then you would say Raj told Sonali that he was sleeping. We won't use then. But since we have the now here, he said I am sleeping now. Sleeping then comes in. So you have to see how the word, you can omit a word when you are changing from direct to indirect speech. So the only thing you have to remember is inverted commas will be removed and you will use that. You will change, there will be change in the tense in some places and there will be change in the pronoun, right? So if the reporting verb is in the past tense, then the direct sentence is changed in the past tense. And if you have say present or future tense of the verb, then depending upon what is being said, the context is also important here. The speech will usually remain unchanged. It will just change the form. Say you have a perfect tense can change to past perfect, can change to past tense, but the format remains the same. Sorry. So if you have, okay, now if you have universal truth, what will happen? The tense will not change. Yeah. Say they cannot survive in water. John said they cannot survive in water will become John said that they cannot survive in water. So when you are dealing with the universal truth, the tense does not change from direct to indirect. Right? So let's look at some, okay. Another thing, when you have interrogative, imperative or exclamatory sentences, that is when you have a question mark or the exclamation coming in, what do? You do not keep the question mark or the exclamation. You write it them as statements. Yeah. Say Sophia said, alas, exclamation, I am ruined. So this will become, now when you use an exclamation mark, you are exclaiming, that is, you are showing emotion. So it will become Sophia exclaimed regrettably. Alas is you are regretting something, that she was ruined. Yeah, so what is the emotion that comes into the indirect speech? So because we are not using the exclamation mark or the question mark, so if it is asked, it will change to inquire, right? Okay, another thing, when you're using words like the modals like will, in the direct speech, I will do it. He said that he would do it. It won't be he said that he will do it, will be wrong. Right? May will change to might, can, to could, shall, to should, and so on. Yeah, you can look up the internet and go through the list of the modals, or of course it's in use, like you will know the usage of it, so no problem. Now suppose we have the sentence, Elizabeth said she can sing a song. Can will change to could. Elizabeth said that she could sing a song. We will not say Elizabeth said that she can sing a song. Right? Now Ellen said I may purchase a suit. May will change to anyone?
Might.
Might. Very good. But again, we have some modals which come in as could, would, should, etc. in the direct speech. So if you have these words in the direct speech, they will remain the same in the indirect speech. Yeah. Say, Kishan said, I should wash the dishes. Right? So here, should will remain should, it will not change. Kishan said that he should wash them. Now, if it was, Kishan said, I will wash the dishes or I shall wash the dishes, then it will change to should. But if it is should in the direct speech, it remains should or would as the word is. Right? So these are a few of the rules that you have here. We'll look at some examples. He said, I eat an apple. Right? Indirect will become, he said that he ate an apple. It remains perfect, it goes into past perfect. Right? Rajat said to me, those children are studying for the exam. How do you change it into the indirect? Anybody?
Rajat informed me or told me that those children were studying for their exam.
Was studying for the exam.
Were. Are converts to were. Yeah. So the form remains, only the tense changes. He said to me, do you like the book? Now we have a interrogative sentence. Question mark. What would you do? Agrima?
The said will change to asked.
He asked.
He
Then-
asked me that if I like the book.
If I like the book or whether I like the book. Yeah. Ravi said, what is Hina doing? Satvika? Ravi said, what is Hina doing?
Ravi asked what Hina was doing.
Okay, we can say that way also. Let's see. Ravi asked me what Hina was doing. Yeah. So Ravi said, what is Hina doing? Maybe Ravi asked you the question. So we can talk, that would come in the context. Or if the context is not there, Ravi asked what Hina was doing would also be correct. Now, Isha asked if she would come for lunch. Can you change that into direct speech? It's in the indirect speech. Can you change it to direct speech? So Isha asked somebody, okay? So what will you, how will you write it as? Isha said, will she come for lunch? She's talking about somebody else, right? So if you were to do it the other way around, then asked will become said and you will use a question mark after that, right? Now the boy asked, where do you stay? What will you do to this? Sneha, are you there? Yes, Sneha? Okay, Rahul, the boy asked, where do you stay?
The boy inquired.
Boy inquired, and how would you change where do you stay? So maybe the boy is asking you.
Where do you stay?
The boy inquired where I stayed, it would be.
The boy inquired where I stayed.
Yeah. So where do you stay? Maybe it's a question posed directly to you. So you can use I. And ask becomes inquire. Okay, let's do some questions. Okay, I'll give you 4 questions. Fill in the blanks. The words are given to you. You have options. The dash TV most evening. Sorry, he dash TV most evening. What watches is watching is watch. Some of them are really wrong.
Watches.
Watches. So he is doing something mostly. Next one.
He went out 5 minutes ago.
He dashed out 5 minutes ago. So he, yes, somebody was saying something. I think Aditya. Yes, Aditya.
Yes, ma'am. The baby, when he lived in Hyderabad, he was going to the cinema once a week.
Okay, the previous one, I think Rahul was saying something. I can't see all of you in one frame.
He went out 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. And when he lived in Hyderabad, he went to the cinema once a week. Yeah. When he lived, if you see, you have lived. So the other verb will not be goes or was going. It will be went. The baby dash all morning.
The baby has been crying all morning.
Has been crying.
That is an action that is continuing. Okay. Some more. So quick, whoever will be the first one can give the answer. Just unmute yourself and give me the answer.
I had been walking for half an hour when it suddenly started to rain.
Yeah, I had been. The next one, number 6.
But it really comes now.
Really comes now.
Really comes now. So he used to, but now he doesn't come. Okay, number 7.
I
I
haven't
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 seen.
seen.
Haven't seen. Okay. Since we met. Now here the since comes in. I haven't seen him since we met a year. Okay, number 8.
We finished our
We
breakfast.
finished.
Yeah, we finished. So something that was already completed. Number 9, quick.
Had
Had
already
already
started.
started.
And start.
She jumped up the bus while it already started or had already started?
Had already started.
Had already started. She dashed unconscious since 4 o'clock.
Has been.
Has been.
Now let's look at some more questions. So I'll put one at a time so you can focus.
Ma'am, can you shift to the previous page once? I had a small doubt in it.
Okay. Yeah.
The
Which one?
second sentence, how would we write that in passive voice or in another form?
In other form? Okay.
Yeah.
He went out 5 minutes ago. So that would be in 5. I think no action is being done. So you have just the subject. You have a subject and an object here.
No, just the subject.
So this will remain in the voice address. So when you have an object, a subject acting on an object, we can change to passive voice.
Okay.
Right?
So if we were
Yeah.
if we were to say he had gone out 5 minutes, then it would be earlier. He had gone out 5 minutes earlier.
Then he had gone out 5 minutes earlier. No, he went out 5 minutes earlier.
No, if we were to phrase it in that form,
In that
if we
form,
were to, yeah.
he had gone out before you came. That would be better.
Okay.
He had gone out 5 minutes before you came. Right? So that there we would take 2 actions, one happening before the other. Okay, now let's look at this question. Now just think what type of a sentence this is. Hmm? The world, she said, is full of sorrow. Wish I were dead. So she observed or she said, what can be? Okay. And then, now if you're confused, you can do one part at a time. Yeah, and see which ones you can eliminate. So when you have multiple choices, first see what you can eliminate. Now, wish that I were dead. That's a hypothetical situation. Now, will you use she wished to die or she wished to be dead? I think these two are not likely answers, are they? She wished to be dead could be used. She wished to die would not be used, right? Okay, now if you look at the first part, this world, she said, is full of sorrow. Now, this is what type of an idea? Remember, we said something that usually happens. of a stated fact. Yeah. So what will you do? We'll keep it in the present tense. So she now was, here we have was, and was. Yeah. So I think our preferable answer should be number 1. Let's see if I'm not right. I'm not sure. Yes. So here is full of, the world is full of sorrow. That is a general statement. Yeah, we keep it in the present tense, and the only option that is in the present tense is number 1. And she wished to be dead. That is a hypothetical situation where we can use to be. Right? Anyone with any doubt in this question? Got it? So, what did we learn here? What did we apply rather? Any general statement, keep it in the present tense when converting from direct to indirect speech. Right? Okay, let's look at this one. Number 2. The policeman said, "Where are the weapons?"
Question.
Question or inquired. Can you go both?
Third is the answer.
Where were the weapons? Or where are the weapons? What would be those? Everyone thinks it is number 3?
Number 4 also. It could be number 4 too.
The policeman questioned, where were the weapons?
The weapon, it's written as weapon instead of weapon.
But yeah, I know. But when a policeman says something, it is not an inquiry, it is a question. Because it is referring to weapon.
It could be. Yeah, question would be correct, but here, where were the weapon? That isn't, and that isn't a typing mistake, is deliberate. So we would rather have weapons over here. Then it would be correct, right? So when you're using were, it should be plural. So
if it's a typing mistake, then yeah, but otherwise I don't think.
now was the weapons is incorrect. So 1 and 2 we can eliminate. 1 and 4 we can eliminate. Now between 2 and 3. The policeman inquired, where are the weapons? Or the policeman inquired, where were the weapons? Now the policeman is inquiring. So when the policeman inquires, he is asking, where are the weapons? We could go with 3 also. We could go with 2 also. Go with. So we would preferably go with the are converted to verb, right? Remember, when we are changing into the indirect speech, we would take the past tense of the verb. The verb form remains the same. Present perfect becomes past perfect. Yeah. So where were the weapons? Got it? Let's look at another question. So here we have to select the correct active voice of the given sentence. Yeah. Now, which of these you are given a sentence, you have to select the one which is in the correct active voice. Here we have the education camps in different states have been arranged for students by the Central Board of Education. Now here, what is our subject? Who is doing the work? Yes, tell me, who is doing the work?
Central Board of
The
Education.
Central Board of Education. So we have to change it into active voice. the sentence given is in the passive voice. So we need the Central Board of Education coming first. Now, by the what can you eliminate? First thing, what can you eliminate? The
Option
first
B.
part of the sentence will tell you the education camps are going to be arranged gone. Then by the Central Board gone, you have A and C. Between A and C, which one is correct?
A.
I think C. E.
Okay, now A says the Central Board of Education is arranging the education camps. First of it, yeah. And C says the Central Board of Education has arranged. Right? Now you go back to the given sentence. The education camps in different states have been arranged. So, would you say is arranging or has arranged?
Has arranged.
Has arranged. Right? So your verb in your option, in your answer should match with what is given to you. You can't go with a different verb, right? Okay, let's look at this one. So here it says select the correct passive form of the given sentence. You have to change it into the passive form. So the government is worrying about the severe natural calamity in the northern region. So what can you eliminate? Something that is wrong can be eliminated. If we look at EA, seems weird, right? The severe natural calamity in the government is being worried about by the northern region. Northern region is not worried about it. The government is. He says the severe natural calamity in the northern region is being worried about by the government. It seems odd, but what is being worried about? The natural calamity in the northern region. Who is worrying? The government. Seems to be properly done. Okay, let's look at the others. The severe natural calamity in the northern region has been worried about by the government. Yeah. So here we have is being worried about and has been worried about. He said the severe natural calamity in the northern region is worrying about the government. That is absolutely wrong. Now between B and C, which one would you choose?
B. B is being
The
worried.
government is worrying about, yeah, so is being worried about. B should be your answer, not the past tense, right? I think you got it right. Okay, now let's look at some questions here.
The bell rang just now.
Okay, rung just now, right? Number 2.
She has been attending college.
Has been attending.
Has been attending since 4th July. Number 3.
Why do you come late every day?
Why
Do you?
do you come late every day? You will not say why did you come late every day. So because this is every day, it happens every single day. Okay. Look at these 3.
I have not yet given up hope.
I
Have not.
not yet given up, did not, am not here. That's the only answer that is correct. Have not yet given up. Okay, number 5. Yes, Neha?
Has been raining.
It has been raining all year round. Yeah.
Is it right to say all the year round?
all the year round, yeah. But usually we use all year round, that is more concise. The year, the could be a yeah. So it has been raining all year round here, would be correct. Or you can also say it rains all year round.
I mean, in my opinion, any of the four can be correct depending
Any
on.
of the four. It has rained all year round. It is raining. No, is raining would not be correct. It could be either has been raining or rains. Now, if it is a stated fact, then it would be rains. Yeah.
Yes.
Or has been raining all year round. So I think we would rather go with a stated fact, which would be a better option. So when you, this is rather ambiguous, but if you look at the sentence, it rains all year round here is a better option, which is more of a stated fact.
It actually depends. Like when you say it rains all the year round here, it's like it always happens like
Yeah.
that.
So that is when you are taking it as a stated
Many
fact.
years or something. But when you say it has, yeah. But when you say that it's here only, like kind of, I feel. So
It
yeah,
could be
that
both ways. It could be both ways, but like depends. Just a given a single sentence over here, both of them could be answers. So these are the type of questions where IPM tries to catch hold of you and take away a mark. So if you are not sure, you can leave it be. Two ambiguous answers, let it go. Right? And you can either mark it, as I said last time, you can mark the answer and you can ask for a review. Yeah, when we say ask for a review, it would be like, yeah, you can report the question that it is an ambiguous, it has two ambiguous options given. Number 6.
Reached waiting.
Reached and waiting would be correct. When our train reached at the station, we found an ad for them. We found the groom's family waiting for us. Okay, now this one. The employees of this company demanded higher salaries for a very long period of time. Now, what do
Fourth.
you see? What is anything wrong in this sentence? Which one would be a better answer?
4. The employees of this company have been demanding.
Have been demanding for a very long period of time. Let's see the answer. Absolutely correct. Okay, number 2. The train is expected to arrive between 11 p.m. to 12 p.m.
The second option, the train is expected to arrive.
Between, we would say that. Okay, now this one.
Fourth option.
If the cab would have started on time, she would have reached office on time. Fourth one says, if the cab had started on time, she would have reached office on time. I think the same as the given option.
No, there's a change in the tense for cab.
Would here would should is wrong. If the cab had started on time, would be correct. Okay, now let's look at this one, number 4. the renowned Villas family is divided on the property. Yes, Rahul?
I think option A.
Option A, the renowned Villa family is divided on the property. Yes, well, there's only one. Now, see, if you look at 2, for the property would be wrong. Is divided into properties is wrong. The renowned Villa family divided, the verb is missing. So this is the only correct answer. Let's look at this one. What kind of a car do you want?
The second option maybe.
Yeah, what kind of car do you want?
Car do you want? We don't really need the
Hmm.
yeah. So when we are speaking, we usually use it that way, but not required. Okay. Let's look at the next one.
Option A.
Option A.
Yeah.
Rishi said to
One.
the boy, can you take me home now? Yeah, so this is where the now comes in. Rishi asked the boy if to take her home then. I think that would be. So let's see. So have you gone to the others and seen that you have, it should be eliminated? Now that if will not come together. Yeah. Rishi asked the boy if he can take her home then. No, can is wrong. It's the only correct answer. Okay. Now this is a little bit about vocabulary has come in. Doesn't matter. Select the alternative that is best suited for the phrase, a loud, harsh, piercing cry. Now all the options seem to be to do with noise. Right?
Maybe screech, because piercing means screech.
So how
But
would
screech
you
isn't
loud?
always loud, right?
Yeah, but piercing means screech is something sharp. But yeah, makes sense.
Loud, harsh, something that is harsh. Now let's look at the words. Howl would be just a loud sound, right?
Mm.
If you say noise, noise is also just a loud sound. Now, howl, would it be piercing? Could be, but howl isn't always really piercing. It could be harsh. Noise is just loud. Scream
Scream could be
would
loud,
be
harsh, and
loud
piercing.
and harsh. Screech would be all the three, loud, harsh, and piercing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's where you're, and this is not only about vocabulary, it's about your analytical skills. So in fact, the entire test is to apply your knowledge and analyze. Let's look at this one. Get back to what we were doing. The payment was collected by the hard-working salesman.
The third option,
Hmm?
the hardworking salesman
So
collected.
here, like if you look at the options, what is the question asking you to do? Changing it into the active voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the payment was collected by the hardworking salesman. Number 2 says the hardworking salesman was able to, once it collects. 3 is the only one which keeps the form correct. So just collected would be fine. Okay, now here we have a jumbled up sentence. You have to put it into the correct order.
BDAC. No,
BDAC.
no, wait.
This means that for
I think it's option 2. ADB.
this means that can come in first, then making a debt can come in second, for making a debt into what in poverty. So this would be 3 and this would be 4. Yeah, so we have A, B, C, D. Sorry, A, D, B, C. Do you think
I
it's
feel like even if we are putting together the sentence in the most logical order, it does not make the best grammatical sense, in my opinion.
okay? Let's read it. Okay, what's your answer then?
No, I'm saying that this is the most logical order
Yeah,
to
it's
put
the
the
most
sentence
logical
in.
order.
Yeah.
So when we are rearranging the sentence, it is most logical order. If there is some grammatical, so here we are not identifying the grammatical mistake. Yeah, so these could be sentences where something could be wrong. Now here if we read in the order, what would the order be?
A, D,
Now what's the order?
What Aditya said, ADBC.
ADBC number 2. Fine,
Yeah.
everyone thinks that. So we'll read it in that order. This means that for making a significant dent in the poverty, rural incomes have to grow at a fast rate. I think it's grammatically correct also. We have a
For
comma here.
making won't be right though, right?
Yeah.
This means that to make
For-
a significant dent.
For making a significant dent.
Yeah.
This means that for making or to make, both will be correct. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Now let's look at this one.
Is it the second one?
Second one. Let me begin with 1 year after its official launch. That makes sense to begin first. While expectations have been scaled down, the rhetoric has largely escaped political scrutiny. Makes perfect sense. So anyone thinks that shouldn't be the answer? Aditya?
I think none of the 4 are correct.
None of them are correct. So if we say 1 year after its official launch, so launch of what?
This time, this much I
1 year after the official launch, we would have a comma here, that would make sense. While expectations has largely have been scaled down, right? What has scaled down? Expectations have been scaled down. So you have to link the ideas. In these questions, what you have to do is link the ideas. So 1 year after its official launch, we don't have what's the official launch, but we have something like while expectations. We have a contrasting idea. Expectations have been scaled down. The rhetoric has largely escaped political scrutiny. That makes sense? So what are you linking? Expectations scaled down, rhetoric escaped political scrutiny, right? Now, its official launch, we are talking about a subject over here.
If A comes in the latter part of the sentence, then shouldn't W have it should be capitalized, right?
Which one?
In this part A, W
Yeah.
is capitalized.
Beginning with B, which is capitalized.
W.
Okay, here while expectation, I think that would be an error.
The W of
Typing,
yeah.
because it's coming the
That raises some confusion.
automatically.
We have to start with
I think it should be in the lower case. Right? That makes sense?
yeah, ma'am. Now
But ma'am, if they give it like this in the paper, like one of the options that starts with that will have a capital letter, then you'll know.
Here you see there are two parts with a capital letter. You could assume that this should be in the lower case. Right?
But like say, yeah, but like say if you have it in like suppose your option C has a capital
Now, if you-
letter at the
if you
start and
want-
others don't, then
If you
you
keep it, now the only option over here you see with A coming first is number 1. Now you read it in this order, will it make sense?
no, I'm just
Why
saying that if
expectations has, okay, let's read it in that way. Now suppose we have a term, yeah, what do? We read it with option A in the beginning. It says, while expectations has largely escaped political scrutiny, have been scaled down the rhetoric, yeah, 1 year after its official launch, that really doesn't make sense. Yeah. So when you have nothing else to do, at least go for an option that makes sense. Right? Okay. Let's look at it. Here your phrase is given in the brackets. We have to look for the correct form.
Had been brighter.
Had been brighter. The screen of the computer was bright enough. It would have been easier to read from here. If the screen of the computer had been brighter, things should make sense.
Was any brighter?
1 minute. Yeah, that's what I was coming to. Would you go with was more brighter?
No, because you
More
can't use
brighter.
AR with RE.
More doesn't go with brighter.
but in
We
the
already have brighter. We wouldn't say more brighter. Yeah, brighter is already the superlative form. More bright may be correct, but grammatically we won't use it. Bright, brighter, brightest. Yeah, so more brighter would be wrong. Just brighter, not more brighter. Had been brighter would be correct.
ma'am,
Yes.
even for the was form, if we were to use was, then you
Okay, like more bright. Instead of more bright, you can say brighter. Right? So we would rather use the proper form of the word than writing more.
and I'm asking what if the sentence option would have been given if the screen of the computer were brighter?
Were brighter would be correct. But we don't have, I was looking for were, but were is not there. So we won't go with anything that was. Yeah. Had been brighter is correct. Right? Okay. So let's look at number 12.
Third option, by the time
He had
she
left
reached
the place.
Yeah.
By the time she reached there, he had left the place. Yeah. Now he had left the place is wrong. He left the place is also wrong. By the time he reached there, he had left the place. Or would, now we also have an option of no error. So we go back to the sentence and see if it is correct. By the time she reached there, he left the place. Which one would be better? See?
He had left the place.
Yeah, he had left the
Had
place.
left.
Yeah. So whenever you have no error, go back and analyze your sentence once again. Right? And then with the option that you are looking for.
Ma'am, for the 11th one, considering that we had two options, had been brighter and were brighter, which would be more appropriate to use?
We would go with were.
If the screen of the computer were brighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
If the screen of the computer, because your given words are was bright enough. Yeah, was would be converted to were.
Okay.
Here we don't have the were option, we'll go with had been bright.
If we had an option were any brighter, would that be better?
Were any brighter? That depends upon if you have another option which is better than that.
Okay.
And if you don't have any other option which is better than that, then you can go. So when you have options, you will see which is the best possible option.
Okay.
Now it may happen sometimes that it is not the absolute correct option, but the other options are worse. Yeah. So you will go with the one which is the best option. Yeah. So I think it will just two more.
Has belonged to us. Has belonged to us.
Has belonged to us since generations.
Yes.
Yeah. Now has been belonging doesn't seem to be correct. Has belonging is not. Belongs to us or has belonged. Okay, which one did you say?
Has belonged.
Has belonged.
Yeah.
So it doesn't belong anymore.
Do you mean that the fourth option would be right?
Belonged, this is in the past.
Yeah, that's why.
Now here you have since generations.
Yeah.
Belongs to us since generation.
Yeah, belongs to us would be the best option. Had belonged, that is has, no, has can't go with belong. Yeah, that would be wrong. There are two different tenses. Belong to us is in the past tense. Since generations, that means we are saying that it's still there. Yeah. So we will go with just belongs. Oh, no, this answer here is wrong. It should be belongs. Has been belonging, belongs. Not the one. Wrong answers. Okay. Let's look at this last one. People in villages don't have enough water. Besides, many people in the metro cities have water even for the swimming pools.
The fourth option, whereas.
Whereas, yeah.
Hmm.
And if you look at but, would that fit in?
But does not give that enough of a contrast, in my opinion.
So in this, we would
Yeah,
go with,
because it is
for
a similar
contrast,
situation.
But in this situation, whereas would be a better contrast. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we get quite a few questions. And I think, okay. So by the time you finish with your classes, I think I'll be able to share the third worksheet, which you can try to do. About 30 to 35 questions will be there. And okay, now one thing more. Now you are already into, you know the rules, you know what has to be done. Now you have, it's time to work on your speed. Yeah. So what do you mean? What do I mean when I say work on your speed?
Rapid fire.
Yeah. So when I say work on your speed, say how many minutes to a question in grammar?
30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds.
20
If
to
it's a question like that.
Not more than that.
30 seconds.
Yeah. Say you try like shorter questions, maybe you can do in 15 seconds. 15 seconds is quite a bit. Right? Because when you have when you have other questions coming in, like say when you're talking about the comprehension passages, the para completion, para jumble, they're going to take more time. So you have to save your time on these questions. So when you are practicing, time yourself. Say you have 30 questions. How much time will you take? Not more than 15 minutes. Less than 15 minutes would be a good time. Yeah. So you take up your worksheet that you get, do it, time yourself, not more than 15 minutes. Okay. So you just put your timer on and start doing. Right? Okay then. So I will take leave now. I think you will have your next class coming in. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
And please write down your doubts so that we know where maybe we are going wrong or whatever. Somebody else may have the same doubt or may not have come up with the doubt, but it will help all of us. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
नंदिनी मैम
मैं क्लोज नहीं कर रही हूँ.
अच्छा क्यों लेक्चर खत्म मैम हाँ हाँ सॉरी
मेरा लेक्चर खत्म हो गया है. उदय सर will be coming in.
यस मैम ओके श्योर मैम थैंक यू
Thank you. मैं इधर से अभी म्यूट कर देती हूँ. उधर से आएंगे तो